Hello, everyone. Kyra Schaefer here, and I'm with Susan Ray. And I hope you are doing great today. We have some good, juicy stuff for you. We're going to be talking about love, the thing that people feel but don't understand. That which is all around us, within us, and we have no idea how any of it works. One of the ways in which it comes into my experience is when a client goes, well, why do you keep talking about love? You know, every single time I ever experienced a feeling of love, it always came with the other shoe.
Price. Yeah.
Right. There was a risk reward situation involved. And, you know, or if ever I was touched, it was in a negative way, you know, as a kid growing up, or, you know, other things. And they told me they loved me. You know, I'm giving you this whooping because I love you. You know,
right? I love you so much. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Right. So you will learn the way to be in this hard, cold, distant world of So yeah, I mean, we can dig in right from that place.
Let's go.
If you want, Susan.
I love that. I love that we started with sort of our imprinting about love, because any question we have about love, which, as you know, I'm a love is the only real thing. Love is all there is. Whatever the question, love is the answer. Yeah. But any questions we have about love are connected to the imprinting and programming received, right? The experiences that we had. So if someone who says they loved you hurt you regularly, you would probably have a pretty skewed view and maybe some apprehension, right, about being in a loving relationship. So I feel like, you know, if anybody watching this hasn't already dug into some of their beliefs and lies that they have been taught to them about love, that's a great place to start with, like a brain dump. Mm-hmm. Love means, right? And they just, or when people love me, they, and just like get it all down and let's see what's actually true and what's baggage from back there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, it's for me, it was very confusing. You know, I mean, if I were to do a data dump for myself, it would be the risk reward. It would be, you know, pain equals love. Right. You know, how I was treated growing up. You know, if I felt loved then for any reason, then that's how I would expect my future relationships to be. And if they didn't measure up, then that wasn't love. You know, like all kinds of things. Of course, the pain equals love, like I said, you know, with whoopings and things like that. Right. Such a gentle way to say child abuse. Let's be honest.
Whoopings. Let me beat you into submission, right? Let me change your behavior through brutal physical force and call it love. Yeah.
Yeah, because this hurts me more than it hurts you.
It's the funniest one of all. Although I did bruise my finger, y'all, spanking my little girl once. It did hurt a lot. Last time I spanked her, I was like, oh, this is not right.
This is not good.
Because she turned
hurts me. This really does hurt me more than it hurts.
She looked at me and said, that didn't hurt. And I was like, I am so fucked. Like, you know,
yes.
Yes. Can't do it.
God, I wish I'd had that, that like gumption to just turn around. Woo! Woo! I'd have gotten it worse. Oh, that didn't hurt? Oh, give me a minute.
Hold on. Let me get something else so I don't hurt my hand again.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So like Susan said, go through your kind of own personal inventory and pull up those beliefs about where love showed up or didn't show up for you, or what it was called at that time. Because I think it gets us clear, you know,
right, about and where if that feels. Yeah. And if that feels too heavy, we can just look at the relationships we have right now. Right. So if we find ourselves thinking he must not really love me because he's not upset that I haven't called him, or he must not really love me because he's not bossing me around or cussing me out, or, right? Then we can see that we have an expectation that love includes pain. Love includes
Mhm.
punishment. Love includes control.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can find it if it feels hard to go back and do a brain dump. We can find it in what we're experiencing right now.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you can also see it on the places that you've healed, because I see a totally different perspective, a totally different perspective, where one time I saw Todd as being very critical of me. And now I don't see that at all, because he was echoing my mom, and vice versa, for, other people in his life and what I would be echoing for him,
Right.
and it's like, wait a minute, we're in this thing together and I'm committed to loving you, and I can't just keep seeing my old definition of love.
Right. I always say like putting my father's face on you. Oh, I was putting my father's face on you, right? Like thinking you're him because of that wound. And it's like, hold on a minute, that's not. It can
Not
even
who you
look
are.
the same, right? Like I think we talked about it one time when it lands like criticism because we've always been criticized by people who said they loved us, but actually, even though it looks the same, it's them protecting us or providing. Like we talked about the street last time, helping us get on the right side of the cars, right? Yeah. Once we take the perpetrator, for lack of a better word, face off the person we are loving in loving relationship with, it looks totally different.
It looks very different. Yeah. Yeah. We can love them much, much deeper, which
And
with a lot
receive
less stuff.
and receive
Yeah.
their love, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So Susan, why do you think we fall in love? What an interesting word, fall in love. Let's start like at the bottom, like the basic, and then we'll move up to the upper echelons if that feels
okay.
good.
First, I just want to say, I wonder why we picked that fall. Is it because it's scary? Because so many of us, right? Or is it more like, I'm going to make them my God and fall at their feet, like we fall at the feet of the divine? I just think that's funny. I think the most base reason we fall in love is because of how someone makes us feel, how they make us feel. The base place of love, which I think so many of us spent so many years in, is transactional, right? It's a trade. I feel safe with you, whatever. What do you think is the base? Do you agree? Starts
Oh
there.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think we attract people into our life who are who we are. I mean, as much as I want to, or at one time certainly wanted to blame my partners for being jerks or assholes or fart faces or whatever. Well, I was the asshole, I was the jerk, and I was the fart face for sure.
It was me.
And I just got myself back to me.
Yeah.
Instead of and also attracting that person that was like me, so that I could go, oh, I don't like that me.
That's right. That's right.
I don't like that me, because otherwise it was just that perpetual pattern, same guy showing up all the time. And at the end of the day, who's the common denominator? It's me. I've got to shift. Yeah. And so I think
awareness.
Yeah, I think we fall in love to help us see who we are at that time.
And I feel like
what we will not accept. Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that's like next level shit. Like I feel like that, I think A Course in Miracles says 1 year in a romantic relationship will give you the healing and awakening of 40 years of prayer and meditation.
I believe that.
I do too.
1,000% true.
I do too.
1,000% true.
When we're ready.
If you choose to do the spiritual life in isolation, you are taking yourself out. Abraham, even I was listening to Abraham thing the other day. She was like, yeah, you have to get filled up, get the momentum going, get the energy going, get that feel good stuff going, and then go take it out into the world and see how long it'll last. And then come back, do it again, go back out in the world, see how long it'll last, and just keep doing it until, but if you're just meditating on the mountain, these interactions, these falling in love moments are so juicy. They're for our good. Yes.
Yes. And one thing I do want to say about that, because I so many people will say, especially in my circle, because most of us have read the book Real Love by Greg Barron. He talks about trade, which therapeutically is called transactional, right?
Yeah.
And so he'll say the beginning of the relationship is all trade. It's just all bullshit. And I like Marianne Williamson's version, which is in the beginning of the relationship, we have the grace to suspend judgment. We're seeing the other person through the eyes of source, God. And so we see their best selves. And so I never want anybody to like tamp that down, like they're like, oh my God, he's the one. And I never like, okay, keep your feet on the ground. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
I'm like,
come on, let's get back to reality here. Who do you think you are? How dare you fall in love?
So I just want to say, let falling in love be okay. Like I'll have people come and be like, I know I'm stupid. I'm being so giddy like a schoolgirl. I'm like, so fucking what?
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
because these are the moments that you're going to remember during the time you're getting that nitty gritty crap with them over what to eat for dinner and how to show up at a parent's house or something like that. Like you need to have that. That's why babies, you release so much oxytocin with babies so that you don't kill them when they become teenagers.
Bonded to them in such a positive way, you can't strangle them later.
Right. You're like, no, I'm bonded to them.
I remember. I love that.
They're mine. I did this to myself.
Yes. I love that. Yeah. And that, it is something to remember in the good times, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we, like, to summarize, we said we may first fall in love because it's a trade and they make us feel a certain kind of way, or maybe something they might provide status, they might provide money, they might provide praise, whatever the things. And then up from there is because our soul is ready for some healing and we want to take it on, right? Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you think in the layers?
Well, I think at that level, boundaries, those kinds of things come into play. Learning about, being lovable when you are saying, hey, I can't do this right now, or this is not what I'm wanting, or this is, whatever it might be. I mean, because that can be really challenging for a lot of people, is just being able to have that person in your experience to test out loving things with. That would
to test out
be another step.
Loving yourself while you're with them, right? Having a preference, having a voice. That's a big thing being talked about in my community right now. We have no voice, and then we want to have all the voice.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's so interesting. Allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, in a relationship. Yeah. Being able to trust them. Ooh, that one's hard. That was hard for me. That one took me a long time to get to, is trust.
Yes.
Because I was always so self-reliant. I was always that person, I didn't get anything from family. So it was like, I didn't get nurture. I didn't get connection. When my grandma died, I'm like, I'm kind of done with you guys. I'm like, done. I don't, we have nothing in common. We're so different. And so I do think that there's a part of me that relies like a lot on my relationship to get my needs met. Yeah. But I don't make it a requirement, so it's kind of like different places, in there where before maybe I was doing more trading, and now I've kind of moved up that scale.
Yeah. The awareness to bring love to the relationship instead of trying to take love from. Yeah.
And then also being able to tell your partner at the same time, I'm not trading today. I'm not doing that today. I'm sorry. This is not my deal today.
Yeah. Not my day to shower you with love. I
can't. I'm not, and never am I ever asked to do that, by the way. But if I was, I would feel safe, to be able to do that. So like, as we move up that scale, like you get to those places, because I've been vulnerable, because I've noticed when there's trading, because there are those places that are unhealed in me, and not making him responsible for that change or that shift. It's, but why do we fall in love? It is, I think it's for our development. I think it's for our growth.
Yeah. Because we are not meant to do it alone.
Yeah.
So whatever in love, I mean, I don't care if you're in love with your best friend and it doesn't matter, but that in love, like, I say that's Kyra, I just love you so hard, right? Like there's an in love there without the physical relationship for me, so it's like, it doesn't have to be a romantic partner, but
yeah,
that in love feeling lets us let love in, lets us receive, lets us feel supported, lets us not feel alone, lets us feel purposeful,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's key. It's you can find love in everything, everyone, every situation, and if you can find genuine, authentic love in those situations, meaning you're not having any expectation of them, then I can naturally unfold into other things. Because you feel more, when we feel more love, we can experience life more fully. Right.
Amen. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. How do you make a relationship last?
Yummy. Wow.
Are you supposed to?
I love that question too, right? Because two things popped in my mind instantly. One is I'm willing, or I always say willing to be willing, to have the relationship or not, whatever will serve my highest and best, their highest and best, the planet's highest and best, right? So releasing attachment, I think, can make it last. And the other one that I have noticed over the years, I'm in my third significant relationship of my lifetime, and it's respect. If I let the respect go, I have a very hard time maintaining connection. And so then a very hard time staying in love, staying in the relationship. And so I really, I really do some mind management with my ego. When my ego's coming in with a judging thought about my partner, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. But here's 10 other places, right, where he's the bomb, he's the everything. So why are you trying to distract me with, he left the meat in the dehydrator too long? Why are you trying to distract me with that? Right? Like, it's so
I love
stupid,
that.
right? It's just so stupid, the things. So I guess another way to say the second thing, being unattached and respect, would be, not letting yourself go down a negative rabbit hole of resentment building. That might be another way to say it.
Yeah. And I also would add to that is being able to tell your truth, or at least tell the truth about how you're feeling. Your relationship is going to last a lot longer if you can be real, be vulnerable, and you're going to be able to feel loved. Yes. Right. Yeah. I love that real love principle. Which is, I can only feel love to the level I'm willing to tell the truth about myself.
That's right.
And so if I can't express how I'm feeling to my partner, even if it's just like the small thing, a little teeny thing that can build on itself, or a big thing, right. If I can't just say, hey, this is what's going on inside of me, I'm not going to say it right. I'm not going to do it right, but just let me say it. Right. And there were times where I had to look at a wall and not be able to not look at Todd, because I felt too vulnerable. And I'm like, don't look at me when I say these words to you. And he's like, sure, I'm here, dude. Like, I'm not going anywhere.
Back to back, so I know you're not looking.
That's right.
I love that, Kyra.
And I remember one time I was painting or doing something in the corner, and I said, I got to say something to you, but I'm scared to do it. I was like, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I love you. Aww. And that's the kind of partner that I attracted, because I did a lot of work on myself.
Yes.
And then he was also willing to do work on himself. And then we were willing to come together and do work with each other. But if you have a partner that is like, I'm not really even in this,
Right.
that relationship is not going to last.
Right.
They're not willing to go there with you. It might last, but will you be happy?
That's what I say. It's up to you if that keeps you happy enough to stay, right?
Yeah.
Like you said. Yeah. The other thing I think about that when you said I was able to attract that kind of relationship because of all the work I'd done and because you were ready to next level it,
Yeah.
right? You've
Yeah.
next leveled your awakening and healing being in this long-term relationship with Todd. So for sure. Yeah.
It's powerful work. Like if you are willing to take on this idea of love as being different from what it was when you were a kid, or puppy love, or, teenage love, or, being in love with someone, but them not loving you. You're willing to up level your belief systems about what love is and limitations around it. I think you're going to have a lot more fulfilling relationships, as a result.
Agreed. The other thing I see you guys do that I think is really helpful in sustaining relationships and an intimate one, a connected one, is learning things together. I think partners that learn together, I don't care if it's, something spiritual or it's another language or a dance, or it doesn't matter, but just something where it's like we're putting our heads together from the same base place. Like we're both starting with, we don't know, let's figure it out together, can be an adventure.
Yeah, I think it definitely does keep us interested in moving forward together. It certainly does. It does keep us interested. But it is kind of it's a double-edged sword in a way, especially if you're for us, it was building a business and we had to learn everything from the ground up. And it took a lot of time and a lot of trial and error, but it was worth it in the long run. But there was some things that could happen in there and did happen in there where we would get lost in the business versus our relationship. So I made a commitment, he made a commitment that there was nothing more important than our relationship. And for that because when you think this is your livelihood, this is your identity, we built an identity around our businesses. But when it started falling apart in our relationship because we were so consumed by that business, we had to make a choice. And luckily we attracted Susan Ray into our experience, different principles, different books, different understandings about things, coaches, people that were willing to love us through it and see it from a different way so that we could see it in a different way. To be able to feel loved enough to go, I can let this business burn to the ground, but I am unwilling to let you leave my experience. I'm unwilling to not love you better.
I'm like covered head to toe with goosebumps. It's so powerful. From the first time you said our relationship was the priority, and I had that thought that you expressed, which was, and that's a big freaking deal because we're talking about your food and shelter, right? You're like,
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Being in love is way up here. Food, water, shelter is down here. Yeah.
But you guys were in the advanced course. You're in the doctorate level shit.
We are. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
But you said it's worth it. It's worth
it. Worth it. It's worth every minute of it. All right, so let's move on. Do you feel complete with that?
Yeah. So learn something. The summary of that is learn something that's fun that you don't
don't base your entire relationship on food, water, shelter.
Right. I love it. Yeah. Pick up a dance class.
Yeah. Yes. Just go to dance class. Learn the cha-cha.
Right.
Line dancing.
Right. I love it.
You don't have to be so committed to.
Yeah.
Fast track something, own your own business. If you want to fast track your enlightenment, own your own business.
No kidding, girl.
Then come talk to me. Can you love someone, Susan, but not like them? You love them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think I can, because I think we forget, even with our partners, right? When we're like, I am so in love with you, but I'm so pissed off at you right now or whatever. I think it's easy to say everyone that's ever had a teenager can say yes to this. Everyone that's ever had a parent can say yes. There's times we love them and don't like them. I think that we all love each other all the time. We sometimes forget. So I think in those moments when we're not remembering we love them, we probably still do. Even if we don't like how they're showing up, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think?
If we know in general we love someone and we're
Yeah.
not liking them,
Yeah.
here's a big idea. And we're not liking them. Could it be that there's something we're seeing in them that we don't like about ourselves? Or are they bringing something up in us that is causing this feeling of dislike? And it's actually something that is not even from this moment. It's from the past, right? I'm never upset for the reason I think. Right?
Amen. Brilliant. Yes.
Those are like big pieces.
Right. If we don't like someone, or if we forgot we love them even, right? We're invited to see this. What am I projecting? What guilt is being projected? Or more simply said, you spot it, you got it, right? Where is that me? And also to your point, Kyra, I think, or where am I having an expectation or believing a lie? Right? I don't like them right now because they're not loving me the way I want to be loved, right? So I had an expectation that they would, you know, do a certain thing or be a certain way.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely do the projected guilt thing for sure. You know, it's like, I didn't do it, you did it. And it's like, damn it. No, I did it. I did it to myself. Why am I so upset? Because I betrayed myself again.
I did it. I drank the poison and I thought you fixed it. Yeah. Yeah. And then do you ever have them say sorry? That just happened to me this morning. I was in total behavior with Matthew, having a little tantrum, and it was all me. It was all my rejection bullshit. He always tells me, wake him up when I get up early. He wants to get up with me. And I woke him up and he was like, hell no, I'm not getting up this early. Right?
He was feeling like I felt this morning. I'm like,
yeah. So I go all the way back to rejection and abandonment from childhood, just because the guy wants to sleep another minute, right? And then when he wakes up, I'm sure to tell him about it because I've been nursing that upset like an asshole. And you know what he did? He goes, baby, I'm sorry. And then I'm like, oh, I'm an asshole. It's my fault. I did it to myself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry too. So funny. I was like, no, it's not even you, honey. It's totally. It was so great. So if we're lucky, we get someone that can love us enough to be wrong until we can find out we did it to ourselves, right? Like they don't have to stand in that moment. It's the best.
So true. So true. I know. Sometimes I'll look at the expression on Todd's face and he is like, huh? I'm like, fuck, I did it to myself again.
Right? You're like, hold up. This isn't making sense to you, then it must.
This isn't what you were doing. This isn't exactly what you were doing to me right then. Wait a minute. You mean I'm wrong?
Yeah.
I can't be wrong.
Right.
I have been right thousands of times. I cannot be wrong. I have proven results of being right all of the time. I cannot be wrong now. You know?
So if you're watching this video, practice being wrong a minute and see if it makes you happy. Just say sorry, no matter what, right? That's it. Oh my gosh, I was so upset that you didn't wake up, and I realized that's because I'm an asshole and I was having an expectation. I'm so sorry. How much smoother would have our start of our day been had I done that, you know?
Right. Well, you know, anyone who gets into rumination or, you know, I mean, Susan and I both got stuff going on, you know, so it's easy for us to fall into some mental patterns that are not have anything to do with us really, or even really have anything to do with our upbringing. It could be a chemical imbalance, could be a bunch of different things happening. This rumination come up, could also just be the ego that's been trying to take us out from the beginning to make other people wrong, create separation And so we cannot love them and we can't feel loved by them when that happens. And so it's just taking a step back and going, I'm really repeating the same thought over and over and over again in lots of different ways. Yes. You know, let me take a few breaths, let me relax, let me find some peace about it. Let me find some peace in myself about it. And then I can bring it to them with a little bit more clarity. But sometimes we just can't do it.
I couldn't this morning. I often can, but not this morning. I hear you. And I say that and I teach that. It's like, let's drain the emotion out first. So we're more articulate communicator. We have a much better chance of rejoining if we drain the emotion out first. I just happen to be lucky that my partner woke up full and could deal with my emotion. Right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. When you have a full partner, you are in good shape, you know, and sometimes that is goodwill that you put in the bank days before. Like, I know that my ego is going to get my ass at such and such time on Wednesday, you know, like, and if you put goodwill in the bank, they come, they're full, they're like, oh, I am in love and peace with the world. And then you're like, nah. And they're like, I love you.
It's okay.
I love you. You're so lovable and sweet. I love it when you're like this.
It's the best. And when we can then offer that, right? Whether it's a client coming to us or a friend, sister coming to us, that's just like, I am a hot mess. And we're like, yeah, I love you. It's okay that you're in that job. I love you. You know, it's great.
It's nice to have love as our job, isn't it, Susan?
Amen.
I mean, that is probably our job. Like, and the long and short of it, when it comes to our clients, the people that we work with, people we teach, it is about understanding what love is, because we cannot live without it. And if there's only two, love and fear, there's only two.
That's it.
It is so easy to make fear the priority when our conscious mind is always looking for it. It's always looking for danger, you know, always looking for something to look out for. And to have a partner, whether it's a romantic partner, a coaching partner, a therapy partner, or whatever it might be, to be able to help you understand the difference really makes a difference. You know, it really changes us.
Yes. And I love that you said that, like, our conscious mind is always looking for danger. Like, that's the function of the brain, is to keep us alive, to keep us safe. So we're invited to retrain our brain, right? Instead of to look for the oncoming train, to look for the pretty path next to the train track that I could easily walk on, right? Like, it's like just that constant retraining. And you're so good at, because you're so trained in the neurology of things and how it all happens, you're so good at helping people rewire.
Yeah. And you are so good at being completely present with people to love them through the experience. I know firsthand, you know, I mean, I think that's what makes us a dynamic duo.
I think so too. We're trouble with a capital T, in a really good way though, y'all.
In a really good way. You know, and guys, Susan and I are going to be teaching in class soon. And we don't know exactly how it's all going to lay out, but you guys are going to be able to be face to face with us and do a Zoom call with us. And if you have some burning questions that you have, we will answer them for you. So we're going to look at setting that up here pretty soon.
For sure. Yeah. So, like, if you're watching this and you want more info, put me in there. We'll make sure to grab you. Like, get on the little list for that, and we'll keep announcing.
Write me in the comments
as we book it. Me.
Me.
I want to go.
Awesome. All right. I think that's it for our questions today. Is there anything else you would like to say to our dear friends that are watching, and also how they can get in touch with you?
I think be gentle with yourself. Pick one thing or two things you heard from this video that you're like, I'm going to pay attention to that. And then be innocent. I thought of it after I said a nut job. And I was like, people watching this are probably like, that is so disrespectful to call some. And so I just want to say, because I'm innocent, being a nut. Like, I think about me, right? So I want to invite you to bring that level of innocence and gentleness to yourself as you're practicing, as you're healing, like, gentle, adore everything about you. And let us know how we can help. I'm at susanraylifecoach@gmail.com. It's Susan, Susan, Ray is RAE, lifecoach@gmail.com.
Perfect. And I'm at Kyra-Schaefer.com. And we have all kinds of fun stuff, like an inspiration session and things like that. But we'll let you know about our upcoming program so that you guys can get some individual care and help you out with some of your own questions.
Love
all right.
it. Thank you.
All right.
So
I hope
much,
you guys
Kyra.
have a beautiful day. Susan, as always, a pleasure.
Mwah. Love you, girl. Love you all.
You too. Bye.